First, rugby league today became the latest sport to ban transgender athletes from competing against women. Swimming's governing body voted on Sunday to bar trans women, and World Athletics has hinted it could be next. So with the tide finally turning back to what I would call common sense, I'm joined now by Fox News contributor and Olympian, Caitlyn Jenner. Caitlyn, great to talk to you.
Hello, Piers. It's been so long we haven't had a chance to talk. But anyway, it's always good to talk to you, Piers.
Well, it's great.
What do you need to know?
Here's what I need to know. I sort of feel that you and I have been two people, part of a lonely group who for quite some time have been begging the sports authorities to, well, for want of a better phrase, grow a pair and actually do something about this iniquity which has been created with trans athletes competing against women born to female biological bodies. Finally, that seems to be happening. What's your reaction?
Yeah, honestly, I think it's very good. To be honest with you, Piers, I have been on this issue from the beginning. I've been very consistent. I have said from day one, I don't want biological boys to be competing against women, especially in school. And honestly, it's just not fair, and we need to protect women's sports. And I've stuck with that all the way through. But I think what that did is it gave the International Olympic Committee, who basically last November gave the authority to the different sports organizations throughout the world to come up with their own reforms. And NEMA, which controls world swimming, they were the first ones to do it. And I think there's going to be a lot to follow. But basically saying that if you have gone through male puberty, because they had a lot of scientists talk about male puberty to the board before they voted, that it is, no matter what your hormone levels are down the line, it's a big advantage to any trans woman who has been through male puberty. It's a tremendous advantage. So because of that, they voted 71.5% of the board voted to change the rules. So now, if you have gone basically through male puberty, they are saying before the age of 12, you can't compete in swimming with women. And honestly, I think that's the right decision. We need to protect women's sports, and I think this will have a big impact on it.
Yeah,
not
I agree.
only just on this. Yeah,
well,
not only just on this.
Yeah, go on.
But your guy, Sebastian Coe, I read an article today. He's with track and field with the Olympic Committee. They're looking into the exact same set of rules.
Well,
this is just the tip of the iceberg.
We have got a clip of Lord Coe actually talking about this. Let's play the clip.
Yeah.
Maintaining the primacy and the integrity of female competition is absolutely vital. And if it's a judgment between inclusion and fairness, we will always fall down on the side of fairness.
What's fascinating about this is how divisive it remains as an issue. So Megan Rapinoe, probably the most famous female football soccer star in America, and probably the world, actually, multiple world champion. She came out and said this: show me the evidence that trans women are taking everyone's scholarships, are dominating in every sport, winning every title. I'm sorry, it's just not happening. We need to start from inclusion, period. As things arise, I have confidence we can figure it out, but we can't start at the opposite. It's cruel, and frankly, it's just disgusting. She says we're putting everything through, God forbid, a trans person be successful in sports. Get a grip on reality and take a step back. What I don't understand about it, if I was interviewing Megan Rapinoe, I'd be saying, look, I remember when the women's American soccer team, the best in the world by miles, best there's ever been, led by Megan Rapinoe, played a bunch of 15-year-old boys at soccer, and they got beaten. Yeah. They got beaten 5-2, I think, which shows you what happens if you don't separate the sexes when it comes to any physical sport.
You know what? Honestly, I think this is a good decision. You know, Leah Thomas, from the beginning, I've never had a problem with her. She has played by the rules. It was the rules that were wrong, the NCAA rules that let her compete. And I actually, at this point, now to see what happens, I'm actually happy she did this. Why? She brought this issue forward. And World Swimming has made a decision, and I think it's the right decision. So I'm thankful for Leah Thomas. She changed everything, and this is a good thing for women's sports.
But what about Megan Rapinoe's comments?
What about what?
What about Megan Rapinoe's view, which is you should include all trans athletes in women's sport? That it's actually they're not dominating, so why are we all making such a fuss about it?
Well, first of all, they talk about having this a different division for trans athletes. Piers, there's not enough trans athletes in the world to have a different, to have another competition. Right now, I only know of one trans swimmer, and that's Leah Thomas. And there's not enough people out there. I think they did, it was kind of like a whitewash of, oh, you know, we're banning the Leah Thomases of the world, the trans athletes who have been through male puberty, but we're going to have this little bone out there. Oh, we're going to create a different division. Honestly, Piers, there's not enough trans people in the world to have.
But in a way, Caitlyn, in a way, that's kind of what Megan Rapinoe is saying, that there aren't many trans athletes who can compete at the moment at an elite level. So therefore, we shouldn't be banning them. What do you say to her specific point?
No, it's not that we shouldn't be banning it. We need to. It's not about banning trans athletes. It's about protecting women's sports. Let's keep that playing field fair and balanced for women. Look at all the things that women have been through over the last few years. Back in the 80s, Title IX here in the United States. Huge opportunity for equality in sports for women. And they got it. And now they can get scholarships. They can get this. Why would we set it back? Let's just keep it clean. There's other things that trans women or trans men, they can compete in intramural sports. They can compete in co-ed sports on a different level. They don't have to be at the high levels. So let's keep it fair. Let's protect women's sports.
On a separate issue, Caitlyn, I noticed yesterday on your Instagram, you shared a story of Kim Kardashian and Kylie Jenner both sent you flowers on Father's Day with a note.
Yes.
And I think Kim actually posted something praising you as a stepdad. I guess for you, is it confusing? Does it feel perfectly normal? They call you still a stepdad, that you're still their father? How do you feel about it?
My kids are the absolute best. I'm the luckiest parent in the world to have children like this, especially Kendall and Kylie. You know, when I went through this years ago, 7 years ago, they said, well, you know, Dad, what do we call you? And I thought for a second. I said, Dad. I'm your father. I've always been your father. I will always be your father. I will die your father. So I have no problem with you whatsoever calling me Dad. Okay? And that's just the way it is. And they have been very good at that. But what they're even better at is even when they talk about their dad, they always go, their dad, she did this.
Right.
They change pronouns right in the middle. And every time I hear it, my dad, she, I'm like blown away how smart my kids are and how respectful they are of my wishes, because I'm their father. I'm certainly not their mother. I wouldn't. It's disrespectful to their mother, which I'm not that type of person. But I've always been their dad, and I'll be their dad until the day they die. So call me Dad, but they do change pronouns. My dad, she does this. My dad, she does that.
Which actually, in a way, is the kind of accommodation I think makes a lot of sense and takes a lot of the heat out of this debate. People can just be a little bit giving on both sides, right?
Yes. First of all, Piers, you know me. I'm a common sense person. I'm not into all this. Oh my gosh, pronouns and this and people. My mother calls me by the wrong. She's 96 years old. She'll every once in a while slip when she's in the middle of an argument. You know, Bruce, you got to do this. I don't even say anything. I don't care. The bottom line is, I'm happy. I wake up in the morning, every morning, and I just be myself all day long. That is the best feeling in the world. I don't have to lie to anybody. I don't have to misrepresent myself to anybody. I just have to be me. And because of that, it's allowed me to go out and do other things in business. Like, actually, I'll be in the UK here, not this weekend, next weekend is the British Grand Prix. I have 2 cars in the W Series. One is a Brit, Jamie Chadwick,
yes,
who's won the first 3 races. She's on Jenner Racing. And I have a young girl named Chloe Chambers, who's only 17 years old, great young driver coming up. And I'll be out at Silverstone at the British Grand Prix.
Well, if you're coming in,
cheering
Caitlyn,
on my girls.
Well, if you're coming into my country, Caitlyn, I'd like to invite you to come and see me in the studio here. We'll have a cup of tea together and maybe do an interview about something nothing to do with trans, just other stuff.
Yeah.
What about that?
Yeah, no, I do so many other. We got to get off the trans thing.
Right.
I have been an avid race car driver for 30 years. I did it professionally. Have enjoyed it and was given the opportunity to own 2 cars in the W Series.
Well, look, Caitlyn, I've got to wrap it up. But when you're here, come and see me. Let's have a cup of tea.
Okay,
Let's talk about Boris Johnson, Donald Trump, whatever you like.
I'll see what we can do, and looking forward to seeing you.
Brilliant. I look forward to welcoming you to this fine country. Caitlyn Jenner, always a pleasure to talk to you. You speak
always.
You speak such common sense. I appreciate it.
Thank you.